vodka shots before I go to sleep. It's a clear recipe for a fucking hangover in the morning. Oh, there goes the, what's that? It's an Acela. One of the bigger boondoggles of our time. See ya. Just keeping it alive. And there's a bus. Smurfs on the loose. Do not be fooled. That's what the sign says. 278-9740. They took away the payphone on 36th Ave at 35th Street, I think. That's not good. This is the only payphone for about probably a mile. It's at Vernon and 34th Ave. Broadway, 29th Street. One of the last payphones on this street. Just checking in, making sure this thing works, and feeding the local businessman a quarter. Everything is good. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the flower stand. I got the Fresh Fruit and Grocery Inc., which is a sort of new place. You got your Fratelli's Marketplace. You got your Spida R&J discount store. You got your Minerva Cleaners. You got your Beauty Palace Inc. You got your Lin, L-I-N-N, sushi place, and then you got your Family Market, and that's all I can see. Bye.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. The number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. Announcement to switch 4182-5.
Yo, it's the closest one to the cemetery. Queens Midtown Expressway and Greenpoint Avenue, I think. Courier Express, I think was the company I was trying to remember the name of. No, fuck, that wasn't it either. Express Courier, Courier Express, Midtown Courier, something like that. Just checking in. This is Crescent Street and 41st Avenue. Probably going to walk it over to Manhattan. Was sort of freaking out a bit because when I was coming down here on Crescent Street, there were just a lot of people standing around outside of buildings. I mean, like, conspicuously large numbers of people, you know, as if the buildings were being emptied. And for a moment, I thought there was like a power outage or something. And I overheard somebody say the word aftershocks, and I think he said 5.8. And obviously there was no earthquake here, but started looking around to see if the lights were on, and the lights were on everywhere. I looked inside a laundromat and the TV was on, and there didn't appear to be any breaking news. I mean, there were like 20 or 30 people standing outside of an apartment building, and then about a dozen people standing outside of some place of business. And then there were like 30 or so people standing outside another apartment building. They mostly appeared to be Muslim. So I don't know if there was some Ramadan-related gathering there, but point being that nothing was happening, but it was a little eerie for a few moments there. I thought something was happening. I thought maybe the lights went out in the apartment buildings or in the non-commercial buildings, and for all I know they did, but, well, maybe it's just a beautiful day. I think that's probably it. That's the only accident.
Turns out there really was something going on. Everything I overheard turns out to be true. I got to Queens Plaza, and there were a couple hundred people outside of the buildings there. And I asked the policewoman, and she told me there was a big earthquake. And now I'm walking over the bridge, and I'm asking myself, is this really where I want to be when the earthquake strikes? I guess it's all good, as they say. not exactly blackout level crowds in the street. Not sure what to make of it all. Not my place to contemplate the grandiosities of it, but what if there really is a big one coming? You know, maybe this is the Wall Street washed out into the ocean, or washed out into the harbor scenario. I remember now on September 11th when I started walking back from 9th Avenue. I was walking on 35th Street or 36th Street. And on that day I looked around and I remember saying, you know, is all this going to be gone soon? And that seemed ludicrous in retrospect, but of course you don't know what to make of it at the time. Now you really do think to yourself, is all this going to be gone? Or could all this be gone? But everything I'm looking at just disintegrate into the water. Like when they moved Houston in Independence Day. I mean, I hate to use that as an example, but the graphics were good. Or maybe it's not something I'm worried about, but it does make you think, doesn't it? The only real inconvenience I experienced was I was not allowed to walk on next to a building on Queens Plaza North, I guess it was. And this really is like a golden opportunity for these the security stuff. Oh, and quintessentially, they evacuated all the buildings and everybody was standing on those new bike paths. And just quintessentially, some foul-mouthed bicyclist barrels through ordering everybody to get the fuck out of his bike lane. And everybody laughed at him, but he wasn't, and told him this was an emergency, but he just wasn't having any of it. He was like, I don't know if he actually ran into anybody, but looked like he might. Well, all right. And I tried. Coincidentally, I was out here trying to support the Payphone industry by making some calls. I wasn't able to call this number from the phone at Queens Plaza North. I think there's only one left on that side of the road. I got error 56. I have no idea what that means. But I made the earlier call was from, as I already said, Crescent 41st.
It's Post Avenue and 60th Street, outside of a Starbucks on the southeast corner. And I did walk over the bridge thinking, is this really where I want to be when the earthquake strikes? Probably not, but you take your chances. There's no pandemonium in the streets, there's no panic. But a lot of people probably don't even know. Did anything happen? There's two phones here. This is the one on the left. There's some numbers on here. 138569 and PPT number 138569. Okay, it's the same number on two different stickers. So PPT number. It's probably Payphone something, I don't know. But I suppose I could reminisce about my 207 East 61st Street fixations, but that was a long time ago. Probably dig that up sometime. I posted that to the .mobile once. This is the phone right next to it, and I don't know if it's going to make it into the voicemail, but there's a sort of a dull honking sound, like a foghorn. This is PPT number 138568, whatever the fuck that means. And it looks like somebody tried to blow up something in the coin return slots. Like maybe somebody tried to shoot him. That's true of the previous phone too. It's Crescent Street, 38th Avenue, in front of a convenience shop. This is where I saw a whole bunch of people standing earlier. And I think this is actually where I overheard somebody say something about the earthquake. I heard somebody say 5.8 and aftershocks. This is in front of this place. And I think I saw somebody using this payphone at that time. So there you go.
Hello. Calls to this number are being screened by Smart Call Blocker. Please say your name after the tone, then press pound.
Outside of Dr. Michael Barsoon, dentist, and PPT ID 130571. Oh, there it is, 3203 31st Street is the exact address. It's actually on here. EHUC Inc., EHUC Incorporated. I know them. It's only coincidental today that I happen to be calling from payphones at the moment that the earthquake struck, but evidently cell phones were out for maybe up to a half hour. Hard to say. I can barely hear this phone, but I'm on Broadway near 31st Street in front of the Contigo Bank. And the number on the phone is 718-728-9380. This is PPT number 125085. It's a Titan. And I got nothing really to say except that my fucking head hurts, and I'm smelling some coffee from the Starbucks. I'm in front of the bank, but there's a Starbucks next door to the bank. This is one of those phones that actually works. And my head really fucking hurts right now, man. That's all I gotta say. I don't think I'm just hungover. I think I overdid it with the breathe right nasal strips last night. Because I put it on too tight, or I used the red model, or the red version of that thing, which it was just too fucking tight. Squeezed my head into submission. So I was sort of hoping a few beers would ease the pain, or get the blood flowing again, or whatever this type of headache is. But I was just at Gilby's. Nothing doing there really. Just talking to some people, but I mean, not that it's nothing, but keep busy, you know. Just watching some people walk by. Still summertime. I still get to look at girls' legs and think about that. 36-10, 31st Street. Payphone serial number 308381. This is outside of the locksmith. Doesn't seem to have a name for the store, but that's probably the place I'm gonna go into to get a lock for my closet in the apartment. I may actually never even do that. And then near the Milao, M-E-L-A-O, Milao, not sure how to pronounce it, but supper club and restaurant, which I don't think is open anymore. I haven't seen it open in a long time, but that's one of those places that is open and closed at its leisure, I think. They make an announcement, word goes out, and then the busloads of young clubbing types start arriving from around the region. Gray-haired gentleman standing out in front of a building next to the supper club. He's got an American flag and a spinning red, white, and blue. I don't know what you call it, a lawn ornament. Actually, I've seen the sort of ornament I've actually seen on at the cemetery. So it looks like they're going to tear down, they're finally going to tear down the old house on 37th Ave at 31st Street. Or maybe the building is just going to come down on its own. The clapboard has come off the window, one of the windows. That's not where I am right now, though. I'm at 38th Avenue and 31st Street, a block up. or a block down rather. And there used to be a payphone across the street from that old house. And it was, if I remember right, it looked as much like a safe as a phone. It had two giant locks on it and metal bars, and I may have a picture of it somewhere, but it looked like you couldn't break that thing open with a machine gun. Always felt like you were putting your money into a safe place with that phone. Of course, it's gone, so I guess the place wasn't that safe. So I'm looking at the Marbleette Company, which is an old faded sign that's been there for as long as I've lived here. I don't know what that company is, or if it even, I don't think it exists anymore. At least not by that name. It's, at one point I was looking up wholesalers for film developing equipment and chemicals and that kind of thing. And the only place I could find in the area was, I believe, in that building. And that place is gone now too. But so my point being that the Marbleette Company building is mislabeled. And I don't have a problem with that. So this is New York City public pay telephone ID number 125043. There was a trick to dialing the number on this particular phone. The 3 key doesn't work quite right. If you don't press it in all the way, it dials the number twice, or 3 times even. And there's only one 3 in this phone number. So I had to try this call about 6 times, as I perfected my technique of dialing the number 3. See, all those years of practicing at the conservatory, all those 10, 12-hour days practicing at the Steinway, pays off in different ways. You apply those techniques to other emergency situations like this one. Crisis. I'm outside of I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's a travel agency, but the sign's not in English. I'm just looking at the subway. There's a banana on the sidewalk next to a half-empty bottle of vitamin water and what looks like a mostly consumed glass of iced coffee. I'm looking at words in the reflections of the car's windows, trying to find something meaningful. I've been doing this ever since I saw the word Yamaha in a reflection of a car window. And the reflection backwards, of course, says Ahame, A-H-A-M-A-Y. Yamaha was a perfect mirror image of perfectly pronounceable word, which I don't think means anything, unless you're one of the few people that recognizes Yamaha in its mirror image. I'm at, what is this, the E, M, and the R subway station, sort of off of Queens Plaza. It's really dangerous crossing Northern Boulevard now. In fact, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to go underneath through this subway station. There's another payphone behind the gate, which I'll take a pass on trying that one today. But I was actually wanting to get to the payphone by the titty bar. There's a place that I think is a titty bar. It sort of changes its identity once in a while, and it'll look like a titty bar, but then it'll look like a family-friendly supper club. That doesn't even make any sense. But it'll look like a family-friendly, like, brunch place. That's what I meant. It looks like they got rid of all the payphones on 41st Avenue. There used to be at least 2. I thought 3 or 4 from 29th Street over, but they're all gone. Well, I tell you what, I ain't gonna lie. This is a scary crossroads here. It's such a tangle. It's such a quagmire of cars going seemingly random directions. But they've been tearing up Queens Plaza for so long now that, and it's looked like a war zone for so long now that it's just hard to imagine it looking like anything else. People still got to run to get across I think it's like 10 lanes, 10 or 12 lanes. They've made it a little safer, but still a scary crossroads is all I got to say. So I'm out in front of a place called 3 Friendly Grocery, number 3 Friendly Grocery, and looking at the magazine rack. We got a copy of People magazine with 637 new fall looks. And that's right next to a magazine called Clean Eating. Just get lean and healthy with 52 slimming recipes that taste great. It's just, I read headlines like that, and it's like reading alien literature. I've just never been understood people's need to make food an extravagant experience for me. And I'm dancing around a bit because there's a bee that I think just flew up my pants. Oh. This is an APC, an American Payphone Communications Incorporated phone. ID number 1865, PPT 132119. It's on Queens Plaza South. And it says credit calling card and opera or assisted. It's like the letter T fell off. So with this phone you can make an opera assisted call evidently because there's no T to be had. Get a shot of that. That was a B at the last phone, by the way. I don't know why I'd make that up, or why I feel like I should explain that, but there was a big ugly bee that showed up inside the phone and made its way down my legs. A little scary, and so people saw me jumping up and down while talking into a payphone and probably thought I was trying to cause a distraction. And I explained myself to one woman that I said, there's a bee, but she looked away. She just minded her business and kept going along her way. I'm outside of a thrift shop that closed.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. The following tones are for the hard of hearing.
This is the phone that didn't work yesterday. I tried to call from it, and I got something, error 35, I believe was the error number. I don't know what that means. This is the phone outside of the Memento Diner restaurant. This is a Comet Communications payphone, and there's no New York City medallion number on it or PPT ID number. But this is the only payphone around on Queens Plaza North. There's another one up on Crescent near, I think, 41st Ave. Which negates what I said earlier about all the phones being gone on 41st Avenue, but they're mostly gone on 41st Ave. But this, well, I guess if you go upstairs to the subway station, there's a phone up there. But yesterday, this was it. This was the only phone in town during the brief cell communication outage after the earthquake. PPT 121767 at 2nd Avenue and 60. I think it's 61st Street. Yes. And I'm looking at a block away is the Tramway Diner, which I used to frequent, and I still do once in a while. And many years ago I was there, and it was pretty crowded, and I was sitting quite uncomfortably close to the woman next to me. But it was fine. And she was elderly. She looked like she was probably mid-70s, even older. And I wasn't really paying her any particular attention until I dropped something. I think I dropped a spoon or a fork. And it landed near her, and she picked it up and handed it to me. And then she pressed her fingers into the palm of my hand. And she asked me, do you want some company? So I realized that she was a hooker. And I looked at her, and the makeup on her face looked like something out of a Halloween or maybe a Broadway musical. And her eyeballs were jiggling a little bit in their sockets, and she looked a little nervous. And I don't think I even responded. I don't think I said one word in response to her. I just took the spoon or the fork, whichever it was, and continued my little business there. That's not where I am, but I'm around the corner from there. I followed her from the last payphone to this one, which is at 64th and 2nd Avenue, PPT 114670. Actually, there's two numbers on this phone, 114670 and 136379. I don't know why there's two numbers on here. It's a telephone. At any rate, I followed her for, I guess, 3 or 4 blocks, 3 blocks. And she was wearing flip-flops, a one-piece dress. She was carrying a Brooks Brothers shopping bag. And she had another bag. It's brown and black checkered. Might have been leather. I don't know what fabric it was made of. Could have been leather. Could have been just anything. And one of the straps was broken off of that bag. She was carrying, the main strap that she used to hold it over her shoulder was there, but there was another strap that was broken off on one end. I think that might be the strap that was supposed to close the bag or that you would use to draw it shut. She didn't have a limp. I wouldn't say she had a limp, but she had a strange gait, let's put it that way. A swagger, that's the word I was looking for a second ago. She had a swagger. And this phone is making me cough. It smells good. It smells like a pipe, like an old school pipe or a cigar. PT 120940, 2nd Ave, 67th Street. It's a payphone outside of a school. I don't know what school. On the ground is the guts, the innards of a disemboweled cassette tape, and it looks like only a small portion of it because it's just not that much tape. But one of my early memories in New York City was seemed like miles and miles of busted out cassette tapes, and the tapes just like littered the gutters and the sidewalks, the way newspapers still do today. But there was a lot more of it than there is now. Of course, cassettes are not real common anymore. But I always imagined that somebody had destroyed the tapes and cracked them open and cut the tapes up and threw them into the street as a way of hiding something. As a way of foiling the trail or ending the trail on somebody's spy work. Or maybe it was intended to be picked up. Maybe the first tape had a set of instructions which, when carefully spooled back onto a functioning cassette case, you could listen to the instructions or listen to the message. So maybe there's some message on this cassette tape here. Maybe I should take it home. TPT 120940, 2nd Ave, 67th Street. It's a payphone outside of a school. I don't know what school. On the ground is the guts, the innards of a disemboweled cassette tape. And it looks like only a small portion of it because it's just not that much tape. But one of my early memories in New York City was seemed like miles and miles of busted out cassette tapes, and the tapes just like littered the gutters and the sidewalks the way newspapers still do today. But there was a lot more of it than there is now. Of course, cassettes are not real common anymore. But I always imagined that somebody had destroyed the tapes and cracked them open and cut the tapes up and threw them into the street as a way of hiding something. As a way of foiling the trail or ending the trail on somebody's spy work. Or maybe it was intended to be picked up. And maybe the first tape had a set of instructions which, when carefully spooled back onto a functioning cassette case, you could listen to the instructions or listen to the message. So maybe there's some message on this cassette tape here. Maybe I should take it home. I don't know if this is working, so I'm not going to bother. There's some grass growing at the base of the pillar one of the pillars that holds up the subway. It's very tall. The grass is probably about 3.5, 4 feet tall. And I just saw it surrounding one particular pillar. And I wish that that was the grass from 400 years ago. I wish that was the foliage and the greenery from centuries gone. It's like I can't tell you how often I wish that everything was still here. Everything that used to be here. All the little social clubs, the trees, the animals, the people, the restaurants, the haircut places, the bakeries, and the stagecoaches and the railroad tracks. I wish it was all still here. All in the same place, all in the same time.
The number you have reached is not in service. This is a recording.
United Street. It's at, this is the northeast corner. There's a big storm coming. And the window is cut out of this payphone enclosure. There's a window on one side, but the window's missing on the other side, so I can see the actual open sky behind me, or in front of me. And it cuts a pretty beautiful profile, actually, with the sun setting. But I spent the day trying to be at peace, trying to stay away from computers and stay away from media, in my own space that I can control. And, you know, the funny thing is, when I tried to go back out into that hailstorm that showers out of the internet and the media, well, guess what? My internet access is cut off. It was only temporary. I don't know. There was a lot of rain today. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I guess sometimes it's just as well not to bother. PPT 125103, 31st Avenue, 31st Street. I'm in front of a smut shop. It's a porn video store. DVDs, and but they have the front of the security cameras and the TVs that they allegedly service and sell. So I'm sure they do. But really, it's a smut shop. And I love the signs. They're very garish. And it looks like a fun place. It looks like a children's video store, for Christ's sake. Yeah, the wind is coming, and I don't know why I'm a little bit scared about this, about the storm coming. 60-mile-an-hour winds, 100-mile-an-hour gusts. Doesn't sound good. A lot of people seem to feel the same way. I'm sure the city's going to make an effort to keep the bike lanes clear, but I don't think there's much else they can really do. I'm here with Tiffany.
Hello. I'm here with Mark.
And I was trying to tell her something earlier, but it made me too sad.
Well, that's not good. I don't want Mark to ever be sad.
No, but I'm a sad person.
Did you say where we are? We're on the corner of 31st and 30th Avenue. And a train just went by.
So I'll probably tell her some other way, like text message or something. I don't know.
He's a very sweet guy.
She's my best friend.
Yay.
PPT 134166, Madison Avenue, 58th Street, southwest corner. This payphone smells like a cigar. I've been sleeping very strangely. Fell asleep about 12:30, woke up about 4:30, didn't get to sleep probably until about 7:30, woke up 11:30. I don't know if I'm anxious about the storm. On Madison Avenue, which I go over here, I go out of my way to avoid 5th Avenue. 5th Avenue is my least favorite stretch of Midtown. I'm going down to my post office box. I wanted to get my old magazines before it floods down there. Not that I have any indication that it will, but we got a big storm coming. I've seen some people boarding up their apartment windows. I'm just looking at people and trying to read people's faces and read whatever concern is in their eyes. I overheard a guy on the subway talking on his cell to somebody who lived up in Westchester. And he's like, yeah, I'll be up there on Sunday. I'll head up there on Sunday. And I mean, Sunday's like probably supposed to be the worst day of the storm. So if he thinks he's going anywhere, he's fooling somebody. My eyes are red. I didn't sleep really much. I don't feel good. I can't find a PPT number on this. This is Rockefeller Center. Yeah, I can't find the PPT here. When I was falling asleep last night, I closed my eyes and I started watching the patterns form inside of my eyelids. And I saw the letters were starting to form, and letters and numbers and brackets and punctuation characters. It was a 70s light show type of display. Mostly the letters that formed were yellowish or white against a reddish, dark red background, maroon. And I would see a letter A, and then I would see a curly bracket, and then I would see a dash. But no words ever formed. I was waiting for words to form when I fell asleep. I didn't see a single word. Just letters and just not even lining up with each other. And it made me question again that nonsensical cliche that if you put 1,000 monkeys in a room and put pens and pencils in their hands, that eventually you'd wind up with the complete work of Shakespeare. I've always disliked that assertion because there's not the smallest scintilla of truth to it. If you put 1,000 monkeys in a room with pens, you're going to get a bunch of chicken scratch. On the other hand, it's probably just supposed to be metaphorical for the randomness of the creative process. And I tend to believe, to some extent, that writing is just throwing a bunch of notes into a box and then seeing what you got at the end of the day. And other things, composing too, but composing music tends to rely somewhat on a broad adherence to form. I just heard some rumbling here. I'm underground. I heard some rumbling, and I thought that was thunder. But then I just kept going and going and going, and I realized it was somebody rolling something on wheels. The sky is kind of overcast and dark. And I wasn't expecting any rain today, but there might be some. I'm walking back with a much heavier load of stuff that I got at the 181 today tonight. It's much heavier than I expected on account of one book. PPT 104255, 34th Avenue, 33rd Street, in front of the El Galito. I'm starting to think I've lived on the same street too long. I was walking to meet a friend yesterday, and on my way there I passed a guy named Charlie. I never had any problem with Charlie, but he used to be infatuated with a mutual woman friend of ours. And he was kind of shameless about it, about his attraction to her. And in the course of being around her, I talked to him a fair amount. And we didn't have much to talk about, but like I said, I never had a problem with the guy. But the girl he was infatuated with just one day got up and got married. And she actually had a baby recently. And as soon as she was engaged to be married, Charlie just disappeared. But he still lives on the same street. And yesterday he was walking the other way. And now he acts like he doesn't know me. He looks the other way. And he starts walking a lot more quickly when he sees me coming the other way. And like I say, we were never buddies. We didn't have much to talk about. We didn't have any kind of a real connection to speak of, but at the same time, I never had a problem with the guy. And I used to be able to at least just say hi to him if I saw him on the street. But now I guess he's embarrassed about what happened or has some reason to think he just needs to pull himself completely out of that little environment that we shared. And then I walked a little further and my ex-girlfriend was walking the other way. And she's my ex-girlfriend as of about a week ago. And I didn't really feel like talking to her, but I had no problem with her at all. We had no future in a relationship context, but I had no problem with her. But she did the same thing. She's acting like she didn't know me. Looking the other way, suddenly she's busy on her cell phone. And I could tell, but there were enough other people around that it was easy enough to act distracted by, just whatever was going on around. I think a car started honking its horn. So I was able to look. I'm actually starting to feel some chill in the street. Some conflagration of of interest, some unity of purpose. There's even some graffiti on the walls saying, yeah, you don't want to park too close to the fence because fucking Irene is coming. Now, this payphone hasn't worked in a long time. This is PPT 125049, 35th Avenue, 31st Street, across from the Suds R Us laundromat, and out in front of what used to be an ice sculptor gallery. I hope this phone works, Sunday and Monday. But yeah, word is out. And I guess they're just making up for fucking up the snowstorm that time, but we'll see if they keep the bike lanes open this time. Medallion number 006213. The address on this is wrong. It says 8610 Queens Boulevard, but this is, I don't know where this is, 21st Street, sort of near Broadway, in front of the Baskin Robbins. Anyway, the storm is coming. People are talking. Everybody knows. There's a certain unity on the street, a confluence of purpose, but yet everybody's acting like strangers. Everybody's trying to act like the boss. Even the hipsters have got into it. I heard this one woman chirping into her fucking cell phone. She was like, people are, she was like being sarcastic. She was like, can you believe that people are like actually lined up to buy flashlights? And it was like, what the fuck? With batteries? Batteries? She was asking like, who the hell uses batteries? But we'll see what happens. Could be a dud. Could be all this is going to be gone soon. But I'm not worried about myself. I don't care. I got nothing to leave and nothing to give. I just want to wake up on the Monday and recognize this fucking place.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. For directory assistance information, you may dial 411 or your directory assistance provider.
Well, the storm's coming in. I just saw a subway roll past. I think that's probably one of the last ones they're going to run today. Standing at, this is PPT 125076, 34th Avenue, 31st Street. There's a bunch of flowers and things and markers on the corner here. This is where a girl named Sabrina was killed in a car accident a few weeks ago. It really was a horrible, horrible story. But, we're all just bearing down, I guess, battening down the batches. I wonder if this payphone's going to survive. I don't think it'll be that bad, but because they're starting to get a little weaselly on the forecasts now. Originally it was going to be 100-mile-an-hour gusts here. Now they're saying the 100-mile-an-hour gusts might reach Long Island or might appear in sort of the Outer Banks of Jersey. So I don't know. I just came out to get some air while I can, get outside while I can, and then I'm going to get a bottle of tonic water so I can make my gin and tonics later. And probably just plan to spend the rest of the day inside and try to get some computer work done early in case there's no electricity later. I want to take some pictures of, I actually took a picture of the Getty sign, thinking that it might blow down. And I took a picture of the price of gas, which is one of those sort of benchmark pictures you try to get once in a while. So, probably the last payphone call I'll make today, but maybe I'll walk around a bit and try another spot. It's 103581, Broadway 29th. I wanted to continue what I was saying in an earlier message yesterday. That I've lived on this street for too long. Now I actually am on the very street where the incidents occurred. or the passages, I should say. There were no incidents, just passages. After I saw Charlie, I saw block up the road, I passed my ex-girlfriend, and as I described, I was able to pass without, I was able to weaselly act like I hadn't seen her. It's just that this will pass, I think, because I don't think she's, completely crazy, but, I went from being, as soon as it happened, I just became the enemy. That's kind of what is my interpretation. The enemy. That's kind of the word. And an enemy is not, I guess it's, somebody once told me that it's not the friends you make in life, it's the enemies. And I don't know that this rises to the, any significance. It was a reporter once who told me that. It's after they did a story about me. He claimed that Verizon was I was on Verizon's shit list. I don't really believe that. I don't think anybody really cared about me. But it was an interesting comment anyway, because I don't feel like I have any enemies. And this is a passage yesterday is as close as I get. PPT. There's no PPT on this one. Steinway Street by the parking lot. Day after the big storm. Storm was kind of a dud, but that's alright. It's kind of fun anyway. Just going around looking for signs at places that say they're closed.
Hang up and try again.
I think it's 118439. AMF Telecom. PO Box 140432, Queens, New York 11414. Never seen that company before. This Payphone's a mess. It's outside of a Wendy's. And I'm looking toward the Conway store and the Gap for Kids. Strawberry Jam, Fabco Shoes, Mikato Clothing Cafe and Bakery, High on Heels, some other things. Somebody asked me what I was taking pictures of. I told her I was taking pictures of all the handwritten signs, or the signs on the doors saying that we're closed because of the hurricane. She thought it was cool. We saw a sign that said it was at the Dwayne Reed. It said we are closed today and we're reopening on Monday. And it took a bit of interpreting to realize that they put the sign up yesterday. Oh well. PPT 118367, serial number 308048, Tel Aviv, Broadway between Steinway and 41st. Wind is really kicking up. Didn't expect this so late in the afternoon. There was some wind when I came out, but this could be some last backwash from the storm. It's very cloudy, but there's no rain. They said there could be a little bit of rain. Not really finding any interesting photos out here. There's no damage to speak of. I'm not a damage whore, but I saw like one downed tree, and that's been it. Not that I crave damage, but I just didn't know what to expect. A lot of people outside. A lot of businesses closed. Most of them don't have signs to speak of. But I thought it would be fun to get some of the signs. They always contain spelling errors and that kind of thing. So I just saw somebody else using this Payphone, and I had a choice between this and a Verizon phone nearby. I thought I'd try this one. I'm getting a little fed up with Verizon not having the PPT numbers on the phones. Well, it looks like the hurly-burly is gone, and everyone can go back to being themselves. But I think what appealed to me most about the potential of a hurricane and the potential of a disaster was the solitude. I wanted to be alone if I was going to die. I wanted to be alone. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be posting to comment boards or thinking about all the complications of other people's mental inferiorities. I didn't want to be defecating onto other people's reality. I just wanted to be alone. This phone booth is kind of a masterpiece, actually. It's not a booth. I don't know why I just said that. If anybody should know the difference between a payphone enclosure and a phone booth, it should be me, but say it anyway. I'm sort of leaning up against this one. Just talking and listening to the people walk by. And I gotta listen to that because I got nothing to say. It's windy, it's cool, it feels like the fall is coming in. I'm a little drunk, but not that drunk. Not as drunk as some of the people I was just around. People are waving at each other, saying hello, saying goodbye, going home, going to work, going away for a while. People are just doing their thing. PPT 117621, serial number 308282, the telebeam at Borden Avenue and 21st Street. This is an old payphone. I've used this a lot. I've had a lot on my mind. I've been walking for a long time. I was out through the cemetery, and then I took a pass on Review Avenue to find my hidden stash of money that I keep there. And it's still there, and I added a little bit more to it. Came up with a phrase I want to remember. It was wholesome righteousness. Wholesome righteousness. It just described the tone of voice that I heard from a man who was lecturing a cashier on how he should be able to make a $1 purchase with a credit card. And the cashier was having none of it, saying he would lose money, but the customer was saying that was illegal, which I suspect the cashier knew. Or it wasn't. The cashier was also appeared to be the manager, and maybe even the owner of the place. And I suspected that person actually knew that he was required to allow a customer to pay for anything with a credit card. But the dude sounded like he was coming out. The voice was out of a social studies book. I am going to keep walking. I'm not taking very many pictures today, and I'm already kind of regretting it, but I'm not going to miss them because they're not going to be there. Borden Avenue is a colorful place. This place called Brooklyn Books appears to have offices here. I saw a listing of offices or of businesses that's inside one of the buildings, and that one jumped out at me. And I should have more to say, but it's just too beautiful a day. Oh, I want to talk about the noise. The noise of technology. I'm not carrying my cell phone today. And I'm thinking I'm not going to carry my cell phone for the foreseeable future. And I'm not missing the noise. I'm not surprised that I'm not.
Please deposit 25 cents for the next 3 minutes.
But the noise of the constant intrusions is not being missed. PPT 125007, 49th Avenue and 21st Street. It's across from the M. Wells Diner, and this is the first time I realized that this is the place people have been talking about. This used to be, I don't remember what it was called before, but it was just a sort of end-of-the-road, Nowheresville looking diner. And I didn't realize that it's been converted to a trendy and hot, interesting spot that people pay too much money for. I guess the sprawl is reaching this area, which used to be, used to have a grit to it, but I guess that's all going to be gone soon. But yes, the noise. I'm not far from the last place I just called from. Went over the overpass or walked over the overpass, which goes under the LIE. It's a very Blade Runner looking thing. There's a sign here pointing to the Institute for Contemporary Art. I don't know what that is. I feel like I would have heard about that. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. But the noise, I just want to remind myself of that, because that's what I'm going to write about tomorrow after I finish the earthquake story.
The number you dialed is not in service.
The Queens Plaza station. You can probably hear the sirens behind me. I guess somebody tried to hop the turnstiles or dodge their fare. I'm actually glad to have discovered this underpass. I mean, I've always known it was here, but I've never made any use of it. But this is how I think I'm going to get around Queens Plaza from now on. Passing underneath that hellish quagmire upstairs. There's only one elevator, and it's in not the most convenient spot for where I usually travel. So as long as I'm able-bodied, I'll be coming downstairs and going back up. It's a Verizon phone. There's no PPT number on this. Does Verizon just not put PPT IDs on their phones? I don't understand it. This must be an old one because the last four numbers start with 9. That's old style payphone numbering. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to dial pound 3333, see what happens. The automated information on plan suddenly changes number. Without the siren going off, it's awfully quiet in here. I feel like everybody's listening to my fascinating conversation. I had one other thing to say, and I can't recall what it was. I've been staying indoors today, trying to get some real work done. Software is the #1 cause of aggravation in my life these days. Today is more fodder for that belief. It makes me realize, though, I think that the large number of typos and spelling errors you see on the internet, on comment boards especially, and in various blog-type formats, I think it's partly attributable to the fact that every one of these formats is a different form, like a different form that you've got to use, and a different series of bugaboos and vagaries that come with each little editing environment. And there's no way that they'll ever be standardized, but anytime I have to start typing text into, for example, the Gallery 2 format that I use, it's just very bothersome to be in a whole different environment and then jump back from that to, I don't know, Word, and then jump from that to some message board software, and then jump from that to some other thing that's got various idiosyncrasies. This kid's doing something really weird next to me. He's playing with a dial on the emergency box. A little strange. Oh, this is PPT 125076. This is 31st Street, 34th Ave. It's the closest payphone to home, I think. It used to be owned by the pizza place, but it's gone. Anyway, the software is just, was almost giving me seizures this morning, but I managed to get a new site up and post some new content to an older site that I sort of let molder away for a little bit, but got to keep busy, you know, you got to just keep busy, and I haven't been doing that lately, so we'll see how this works out. Using a quarter that I just found on the sidewalk to make this call. I wasn't going to make a call, but a quarter sitting on the sidewalk seemed like a good reason to maybe take the plunge, you know, go all out there, live a little. This is PPT 125050, 35th Avenue, 33rd Street. It's out in front of the school. School is where I vote. Originally when I moved here, I voted at a different school, but then they changed it to this one. Pretty sure I voted every time I could the last 10 years. I don't think I missed any. I was disappointed when I discovered that becoming an independent voter means you don't get to vote in the primaries, because those are party specific. I didn't know that, and so I appeared the first time when I learned this. I appeared to vote at I don't remember if it was a Democratic primary or which, but nobody understood why I wasn't on the roll. And we, I think, submitted a an affidavit of some sort as a proxy for my vote, assuming that my voting status will be straightened out later. And I got a letter back months later. Almost made it sound like I was going to be prosecuted for attempting to vote in a primary where I wasn't allowed to. That was the end of that. That was just an honest ignorance on my part. I suppose I should have done my research first, but now I just don't get to vote as much, which is a bit of a bummer, to be honest with you. Because I love to vote. I wish I could vote every day. PPT 113444, 34th Ave and 10th Street. They got rid of the payphone over at the Costco, and that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, I don't usually get annoyed when I see a payphone disappear. I just feel sad a little bit, and I feel a strange sense of disenfranchisement, even if that disenfranchisement is perhaps a little retrospective, or maybe I have some sense of nostalgia that makes me want to feel disenfranchised when I don't necessarily have a right to feel that way. But I don't understand why they would get rid of it at a place like that. I mean, obviously they got rid of it because nobody was using it.